இங்கிலீஷ் பார்ட்னர் உலகத்தோட எந்த மூலையில நீங்க இருந்தாலும் வாட்ஸ்அப் மூலமா ஈஸியா இங்கிலீஷ் கத்துக்க ஒரு ஆன்லைன் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம். இனி இங்கிலீஷ் கத்துக்கணும்னா இங்கிலீஷ் பார்ட்னர்ல ஜாயின் பண்ணுங்க.
கலாட்டாவோட இந்த கான்வர்சேஷன்ல நம்ம கூட பர்லிங்டனோட மேயர் Marianne Meed வார்ட் இருக்கிறாங்க. வணக்கம் and hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's a great honor and pleasure that I'm talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Very welcome. I'm happy to talk with you.
And I'm so glad and happy that you speak a lot about India, its culture, even food. And recently, we saw you tweeting about one of our heroes' fan club has did a social welfare things, and you were very happy about that. That's Thalapathy Vijay, and you spoke about that also. So how is it like? How does it feel like when fans for a hero and they come up and they involve in many social welfare activities, and how does that feel for you?
Well, it was really unique when the Thalapathy Vijay club, the fan club, reached out to me. I had no knowledge before of Vijay. I didn't know about all the movies. I was introduced to that. But the fan club and him as an actor, of course, have been very involved in charitable works across the world, really. And the fan clubs in different parts, different countries, particularly here in Burlington, have been big on our food bank, our Burlington Food Bank, our Canadian Red Cross, which is blood donations, life-saving blood donations, and so many other things. They do these charitable works because they are inspired by someone who's in the movies, and I think it's wonderful. This person is obviously more than an actor and wants to give back to his community and give back to communities around the world, and so his fans have really taken that to heart. And so it was really fun for me to learn more about the actor, but also to learn more about how his fans are trying to make a difference right in their own community.
And by mentioning it, I think you have taken that to next level. So credits to you too as well. And a small thing I would like to share about the actor, Thalapathy Vijay's birthday is coming this month, and it would be great if you wish him as well.
I would like to wish a big Burlington happy birthday to Thalapathy Vijay. We celebrate your birthday here. We have lots of residents who know you and are standing with me to send birthday greetings. So have a happy birthday.
So to begin with, actually you are one from our community, journalist. You were a journalist, and what made you switch career? Is there any incident that you could share with us, that one moment that like changed your whole life?
Well, I became a journalist really for the same reasons I became an elected official. I wanted to, in that case, use my words and my writing and my broadcasting to make people's lives better, to bring about change. And at a certain point in my life, I realized that instead of telling other people how I thought the world should go, so I was an opinion writer, I was a broadcaster, I had the best job ever. I was paid for my opinions. I just decided, I want to get involved more, and I want to not just tell people how things should change. I really want to be part of the change. And there was an incident in my community, and it really dealt with traffic. There was a lot of speeding in our neighborhood. We have at the time, had 3 young children. I started talking to some other moms in the neighborhood, and we kind of banded together to see what we could do. And we weren't making much progress. So that really kind of lit a fire in me to say, you know what, I don't just want to lobby our elected officials to do the right thing. I want to be one of the decision makers around the table.
Great.
And so I actually ran twice for elected office and lost, came very close, and it showed me that it was really what I wanted to do. And then the third time I won and haven't looked back since. So happy to be an elected mayor in the city of Burlington.
Great. That's one inspiring story. Because change starts within. So when we are ready to change ourselves, so do the people will start changing. I think that's a great message for us today. But how is it being the other side? Because you generally, we journalists, we tend to put forth the questions to politicians or whoever is in the other side. So like totally this side, how does it feel?
So it's really interesting. I didn't really think about this before I became an elected official, but you really need to be a really good communicator. So I still use a lot of the skills, all of the skills that I learned as a journalist. So when you vote on something, you have to explain that to the community. So it's like writing a column. It's like you have to give your opinion to your residents. I started a newsletter as soon as I became a city councillor, every month telling people what was happening at City Hall, but I would tell them my take. But especially now with social media, I post multiple times a day to let people know what I'm up to. And people really they tell me they really feel connected because they pretty much know where I am every minute of the day.
So then it was like whenever you wanted to meet people, you should bring them to a common place. A meeting has to be arranged, and you will address the people. But social media has made it so simple that you can directly talk to people, and people also can come up with their opinions or problems, and it has become a very easy a way to communicate. And how liberating is it for you as a politician?
Lack of kindness. And so you really have to take it with a grain of salt. And what I find is when people reach out in different ways, then I really know there's an issue. And the best way to solve to get into a debate on social media, it's really to get together and talk with the community. For example, I was at a night. We had over 100 people come out and had a great conversation with the community about what was on their mind.
And there's a widespread thought or perspective which says politics is not that safe for women. So how is the environment treating you?
Yeah, we live in a mid-sized city. There's about 200,000 people here in Burlington, and I've always felt safe in the community until the last few years with the COVID, and that created a lot of division in the community. And there would be times when people would show up at my personal residence, protesting things that we hadn't even done. It was another level of government who had imposed certain things, but they were staying at my house, and so then you start to not feel safe, and that's a really unfortunate part of being in public office, is that you are in the.
Like you were talking about women's safety, and I think you have got a strong opinion, and I find you as a inspiring women as well. And we recently heard about your resolution that's intimate partner violence and violence against women as an epidemic. That's so deep and that's so sensitive. Can you just share something about that, ma'am?
It's a huge issue in our community, and it is hidden. Intimate partner violence happens behind closed doors in the family household, and what we've learned from police is that only about 1/3 of all incidents ever get reported. And even with that, they presented to us when we were passing the resolution that they respond to 10 calls a day and they do about 3 arrests a day in Burlington. And we're only a small community of 200,000 in Halton region, about 500,000 people. And just hearing those statistics was shocking. And the other piece is that people don't understand what intimate partner violence is. I had a woman come and speak to us, a very, very devastating story. She was divorced from her husband, and he was very controlling. So this notion of coercive control never hit her. She was trying to get supervised visits with if he was ever with their daughter, that the visits would be supervised. And the judge really downplayed coercive control and some of his threatening and controlling behavior because there was no violence per se attached to it. And finally, she was able to convince a judge to ensure that visits were supervised. And they were about to go to a hearing, and the husband jumped off the top of a cliff in Halton with his daughter, killed them both. Violent in the classic sense of the word, until he was violent, until he killed himself and his daughter. And so that led to our efforts in Burlington, and it's now both a provincial and a national law. It's called Kira's Law, to educate judges about the many different varieties of intimate partner violence, including coercive control. And so we wanted to ensure that people are aware that this happens everywhere. It cuts across all socioeconomic. So the first step for us was really to raise awareness that this is happening in private homes. It's happening right in our city of Burlington,
Yeah.
where we think we're a
People are
small
happily
town,
married. Yeah.
and it can be very difficult in certain cultures and certain faiths for women to speak out, and so we just really wanted to let women in particular and children know that we're aware of this. We stand with them, and the response to us passing this resolution has been quite overwhelming and profound. But also, we're hearing stories of women telling their stories, and it's just been heartbreaking to hear. So, we're not going to stop with the resolution. We've asked our city manager to look at ways that we can do more to help women and families and anyone fleeing intimate partner violence. But it starts with being aware that there is an issue, and we have an issue.
Yes, and I find you being a so empathetic person. We have at least we have recognized the problem, and this is the first step, and that is going to create a change, I think. And kudos from our side, and we're totally stunned to just hear something or read something about this. And did you get to know about India's politics or cultural things? Like, can you just share any thoughts about that?
Well, we have many residents here in Burlington that are from various parts of India, and it's one of the fastest growing groups of newcomers in Burlington who are calling Burlington their home. So I'm learning a lot. I've always loved the food and the culture, and now I'm finding out more. In fact, we had a kite festival very recently. I know it was a huge celebration in India. It usually happens in January. So we just had it in June, and there was food and celebration, and I was invited out to learn more about the importance of the kite flying festival and the history and heritage of it, and meet some more residents. But it is a very growing population here in Burlington, bringing that rich cultural diversity to our city. It's wonderful.
Nice, and it's a request from our side. Sometime you should visit India, and may I know what's your favorite food?
You know what? I love curries, and I love paneer, and I love anything with chickpeas. And I was remarking to people that there's such an array of vegetarian dishes as well for people. We don't, in our culture, a vegetarian dish is a salad. So,
Yeah,
there's a
uncooked
lot
vegetables.
more. There's a lot more variety, and so I really appreciate that, and I love spicy food. So I'm a big fan of the curries, and they had a chickpea dish when we were there for the kite festival.
Coming back to your journey, what is your long-term goal? Because we find Burlington is a great place to live. It's a nice liberating place. So, what is your long-term goal plans, ma'am?
We are a very welcoming country, Canada. We are welcoming 500,000 new immigrants every year, and many of them Golden Horseshoe, the Greater Toronto area. People come in from Toronto and then settle, and we're just outside of Toronto in Burlington. And so all of us are making plans about how we are going to welcome new populations and newcomers. We have a target to build 29,000 homes in the next 10 years. We're working closely with the province. Fastest growing demographics are people from India. And so a huge part of our goal is how are we going to get shovels in the ground? Where are we going to accommodate new growth? But more importantly, welcome that rich cultural diversity from communities across the world that are choosing to call Canada and Burlington home. So we embrace and welcome all kinds of diverse cultures and want everyone to feel welcome and included in Burlington. So that is the biggest goal, it's both an opportunity and a challenge that we face over the next 10 years, but my entire city council is united in really rolling out the red carpet to make people feel welcome in our city.
Whoever is going to watch this video, they're going to just get so inspired. Thank you so much for your time. And one last request from my side. So we speak Tamil here. So that's our mother tongue. Can you just try saying anything in Tamil? It is a request from our side. It would be great if you do that for us.
I don't know any Tamil words. So if you tell me
I can teach you if you don't mind.
absolutely, please do.
எல்லாருக்கும் நன்றி, meaning thanks to everyone.
Laikum Mandri.
Oh, wow, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. It was great pleasure having you in my show.
I would love to come and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Good day. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
இங்கிலீஷ் பார்ட்னர் உலகத்தோட எந்த மூலையில நீங்க இருந்தாலும் வாட்ஸ்அப் மூலமா ஈஸியா இங்கிலீஷ் கத்துக்க ஒரு ஆன்லைன் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம். இனி இங்கிலீஷ் கத்துக்கணும்னா இங்கிலீஷ் பார்ட்னர்ல ஜாயின் பண்ணுங்க.